This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to be doing a retrospective on the Turtles of Grayskull line of figures. We are also testing out the collecting room as a place to do videos, at least until I get the other shelving units in here, and I can already hear an echo. And currently we have the ceiling light and two ring lights that are facing down here, so that's the lighting we have here. This is our first wave from the Turtles of Grayskull line of figures, and it was a pretty decent start. And some of my opinions on the figures may have changed since we've got additional figures in the line, although I'm still going to say that my overall thoughts have been that the figures got worse and worse as the line went on. We have Leonardo, Donatello, Mutated He-Man, and Man-at-Arms. I actually don't mind this design for Leonardo, I just hated the sword. And now it does come apart, but it just looks awful. I know there is some artwork for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles He-Man crossover. I can't remember the guy who did it, but he had taken the power sword and split in half the opposite direction to give Leonardo two swords, and I think that would have looked better. Donatello's staff looks stupid, and it did before. And I still don't like that Donatello's helmet doesn't come off. And all the turtles had the same issue where there's no way to attach the shells to them without those harnesses. I think the Thundercats crossover is doing a good job by giving us the actual Thundercats in their Thunderian forms as well as Eternian forms. And that's something they should have done with the Ninja Turtles. Mutated He-Man. I mean, he's an okay figure. I mean, it's a mutated version of He-Man with giant arms. Of course, he's a lot smaller than what he was portrayed in the mini-comics, so he probably should have been a deluxe figure using the Andre the Giant body. Although, considering Andre the Giant was sold as a regular figure, actually they should have just used him as the He-Man that way. And Man-at-Arms generally looks okay. I mean, they changed some of his equipment to look like turtle shells. Wasn't a big fan of that helmet. And his mace looks kind of stupid too, like Donatello's. In fact, they look a little too similar in my opinion. But that's the first wave. It was a decent start, but not the greatest. Okay, so now we're doing wave 2, and we just have the two ring lights on. There's definitely a difference in the lighting here, but who cares at the moment? I'm just going to say for the right now that I spent more time trying to get that frickin' Ram Man figure to stand up than I did recording the last clip. So that being said, wave 2, the Shredder action figure is probably the standout. It's too bad they gave him Hordak's duck feet. Otherwise, he's a really great Shredder figure too. Aside from that, I think Ram Man actually was a really well-looking figure, but he is incredibly a pain in the ass to try to stand up. Beastman is also the only person who comes with a shell shield that doesn't have a way to attach to their back. And actually the armor looks pretty good on him, so I'm not going to complain too much about that figure. I think it looks good. And that brings us to Raphael. My favorite turtle and quite possibly the worst figure in this wave. Because for whatever god-awful reason, and they did this both times they put him out, they gave him some weird hand covering weapon thing. And sadly, this one is actually better than the other one. But honestly, they should have just given us two of his giant-sized size instead of that hand weapon. Plus, oddly enough, it's Teela who actually gets the other one. So for Wave 2, like I said, I think Shredder is the best one, followed by Ram Man, then Beast Man, and then Raphael comes in a distant last. And he should have been so much better. Like, I don't like the helmet. I don't really care for the armor very much either. And that stupid hand glove weapon thing is just terrible. That being said, thus far out of the first two waves, this one is definitely the better of the two. So up next, we have our third wave of the Turtles of Grayskull crossover lines. And the standout in this wave, I would say, was Casey Jones. Probably the best figure that they put out here. Comes with a ton of weapons, some of which are new and some of which are reused. And even one of them is from the Masters of the WWE, the giant hammer he's got on his back. But he also has that big-ass axe that Krang had. Teela, my favorite Masters of the Universe character, was actually quite a disappointment overall. Her look is actually pretty good, like this. Except for, one, her armor pops off when you look at it funny. She comes with Raphael's other side instead of her own kind of weaponry. And her helmet doesn't come off. Now, to add insult to injury, they did not paint anything except for her on her torso, except for the collar. They didn't do any of the other detailings in the silver. And I think that was a very big negative for that figure. Skeletor. Here looks like he's based on the 2000X version of Skeletor. This is his Shogun version where he's got the whole samurai getup going on. His weapon, I thought it was stupid then. I'm pretty sure I thought it was stupid then, and I still think it's kind of stupid now. Whereas like the Havoc staff, and I don't know what that weapon's actually called, but basically it's nunchucks with blades and goat heads on it. It's kind of silly. He does come with a thing of mutagen though. I keep on feeling like he's about to fall over too. And then we have, last but not least, we have Michelangelo with his He-Man hairdo, toupee style. It does come off. He did not come with the standard body. They created a armored body for this guy. And I think they also used it on the second one that they released, and they used it on a Donatello also. That meant that if you had any hope of trying to display these guys as the Ninja Turtles by themselves, even without the shell, you were shit out of luck with Michelangelo. His head sculpt was fine. The big positive with him, though, is the nunchucks actually have chain and not just a plastic cord going between the two. Overall, I think this wave was kind of a letdown also. It should have been brilliant, honestly, but it wasn't. Again, I think Casey Jones was the best figure that they did. It's a shame they didn't give him a second hand that could grip instead of he's just got like the shield slapping hand. And of course, we've got the little glove that goes on it. And I don't think that's actually the one from Masters of the WWE Universe either that came with Mr. T. I think that might have been a new one. So why they didn't just have it be one of those things that had a peg in it like they've done later with like the Terraclaw Skeletor and Masterverse, I don't know. But yeah, overall, this wave was okay. Not great, not terrible, just okay. So that brings us to our fourth wave here. Somehow I managed to lose my Stealth Leonardo. I don't know where the hell it went, so I had to pick up another one and I just haven't opened it yet. I was kind of hoping to find it and just be able to return that one to Walmart. That being said, both He-Man and Leonardo suffered from the same problem in this wave. Their playability sucked. He-Man, all of his shit comes off. Like that hood pops off without a second notice. Same with Leonardo's, as I recall. The posability is kind of awful. Because all that cloth is, you know, hard rubber and not like a soft goods, you know, it just doesn't move any differently. It's just stuck on him. He-Man had another problem though, and that's that his eyes, whatever the hell they did when they designed that tempo for him, they really effed that up. He looks like he's high. He just plain looks like he's high. That being said, it was kind of funny because the two best figures in this wave are April O'Neil as the Sorceress and Hordak, whatever they did to him. Just kind of weird. Like, Hordak played such a little role in this series too. It was kind of sad. I was expecting more from it. Originally, I did not think I would like the April O'Neil Sorceress, and she's not great. I mean, she's one of the better figures in this wave, again, but not great. Her wings do work pretty nicely, though, as a way to help hold her up. But the tail feathers that high on her back just look kind of awkward. I think they did a better job with Voltec, who uses the same wings, which is probably why they use those anyways, because they were, you know, pre-tooling for Voltec. Her weapon is like, I think in her case, it's supposed to be like an all-seeing camera eye thing. Some other figure I think came with it. Oh yeah, it's coming with that Battle for Eternia 4-pack, the Elite Royal Guard guy, and that's just a hammer in that case. There is that. I do want to do a custom version of that April O'Neil in the future. I've got her and a second Tila figure that I would like to merge together, switch out some body parts, so forth and so on. Although, looking at it at the moment, I think those bracers are going to be a bit of an issue because I don't think they come off. And then we have Hordak. Again, the face on Hordak, the Hordak head for the Turtles of Grayskull is one of the best Hordak face sculpts that we got in the Masters of the Universe line at that point. Honestly, probably still is one of the better ones, to be honest with you. They've got some definitely unique ones that they've put out since then, but this one just, it's the best. His wings are okay. The first one of him I had, he fell off the shelf. I wasn't even displaying him yet. I just had him on the shelf. He fell off and the wing broke. So they're not particularly strong. They're kind of fragile. And instead of an arm or a hand, they did give us a slime thrower. So there's that with the Hordak. So he's a decent, he is like one of the better figures in this wave. Overall, not the worst wave though so far, but also not the best. God damn it. Next up, we have Wave 5. This one gives us our best Raphael and Donatello in the line. And actually, if it wasn't for the stupid little claw hand weapon that they gave him, this Raphael would probably be the best figure there. I am sick and tired of that mecha neck. He's fallen a number of times, and I'm just going to leave him on the ground there. Seriously, though, the Raphael, definitely the best Raphael in this line. I mean, there's only one other one, but still. The claw weapon is stupid, but they also did give him two sides, so you can throw the claw weapon away and just have him hold that. Donatello here uses the same battle armor body that Michelangelo had. That's non-functional battle armor. It's just sculpted to look that way. His weapon is definitely much better. You can have those ends on there. They can be flaming like from the Demogorgon's weapon, or use it as regular bow staff. So that is actually a nice version of Donatello. The only problem is, like, when you look at the clips on the legs there, those are clips and not just like a band that goes all the way around like they've done with previous figures, or even something that snaps together. It just kind of holds on there and you gotta do it by friction. Mechanic, who has fallen over again, is a piece of crap. He is quite possibly one of the worst figures in this line. The face was terrible. The design of the armor is terrible. Rather than create a second neck part to make it look a little more seamless, they gave us the same neck part twice, so it looks like he's got a collarbone on both sections, so to speak. And on my copy, at least, every joint in his legs and knees are absolute trash. However, with all the other problems I've talked about, Mechanic's inability to stand up, the parts that fall off, the non-playability of some of these figures, well, Ratlore goes ahead and sees that and says, "Hold my beer. Let me be the worst figure thus far." The concept was kind of cool. The follow-through, however, was garbage. He looks terrible overall. The color scheme is just total trash. Why they decided to use hot pink on this guy, I do not understand. And it's supposed to look like this hot pink spirit thing is coming out of his head. And the way it's designed, those spikes look more like their centipede legs than anything else. He uses the feet and hands from the Demogorgon, which is fine. But like the little armor things on the side of his arms there, those pop off if you look at them funny too. You do see his previous head kind of ripped apart there with the spirit head coming out of it. But, you know, it's just awful. The only highlight here is that because the Demogorgon's feet are a little bit taller than the standard foot, his tail doesn't make him want to push forward all the time. And when I first set this up, he was standing up almost straight. So that just shows you how badly that's gone. So yeah, I think that is one of the worst figures in the line. Although we will be outdone by Deluxe in the near future. And so here we are with Wave 6. The standout in this wave is the Leonardo. I think this one is probably the best Leonardo they did in this series out of all three of them. His armor looks great. The only negative really with it is that they did not put slices in the skirt pieces, so his legs are very not posable. He also has clips again on the bottom for those extra bandages around his knees, which I thought was stupid and terrible. He comes with a couple of hooked sword things. I believe they have a name, but I don't know what they're called. Then we get to the snake armor Michelangelo, who is leaning back now and will probably fall over at some point during this talk. You remember how I said that the Shogun Skeletor had a really terrible weapon? Well, Michelangelo outdid that one. I don't know why they decided to come up with this weird electro netting nunchuck thing, but it looks awful. And just to add to it as kind of a bit of weirdness, while you can't see it here, on the one behind him, there's an additional piece that allows you to hook the backs of two nunchucks together as one. Why? I don't know. Again, he uses that battle armor body again, so you can't do like a plain Ninja Turtle version of Michelangelo in this line at all because of that. And that's a damn shame. Next up, we have Ninjor, the dragon. Now, I never really thought about it, but since Ninjor does have the reptilian parts like Skeletor, it never really occurred to me that there might be some history there. But yeah, apparently Ninjor is drunk. Related to dragons in some way, shape, or form, at least according to the Turtles of Grayskull story. And while I was really looking forward to this figure, once I got him in hand, I wasn't that impressed with him. Now, he does have the neck extension that came with Vipron. And he does have a standard, ninja sword. The same sword I think that his original release came with. And there goes Michelangelo. Two drunk bitches laying together. Also on my copy, the wing on the left side does not hold in very well, so it kind of slips and falls. That leaves us with our buddy Clamp Champ here, the guy with his hand up Kermit the Frog's ass there. Yes, while I think he has a terrific body sculpt, and I think that one actually looks better than the original deluxe release they did, The equipment he comes with is pure garbage. You know, at least with the original one, his little clamp thing, you know, had a little spring feature. This one does not, and it looks stupid. I think they're trying to go with like a snakehead look to it. It just looks like a Muppet. And then the pauldron there, or whatever you want to call it, on the side of his shoulder just looks out of place, as well as all the other armor. Said the best figure in this wave was Leonardo. Sadly, followed by probably Clampchamp, only because the body sculpt looks really good. Aside from that, whatever. Like, I'll give him credit for trying something different with Ninjor. And oddly enough, while he does have the mutated looking limbs with that clear translucent plastic stuff, in the comic book, it was magic that apparently changed him, not the mutagen. So for the deluxe figures in the line, I'm going to split them up between Walmart and Target exclusives here. So these are the Target exclusives, and if you got them all, you got to put together MOTUO there, which honestly, that one's not a bad figure. I rather liked him. But there were some improvements that they should have done, namely having a place to attach the attachment jumper when he's using both of his regular hands, but they didn't do that. Mousejaw there was our first of the Target exclusives. He was okay. He should have come with more than one mouser, and the mouser does attach to him. Like, you pull the legs off, you can attach the legs to his belt, and then the mouser itself can attach to there, so the tail in the hole. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. And, you know, you can shoot his special energy effect out of there, and I don't know what I did with that, to be perfectly honest. Not a great figure overall, in my opinion, but not horrible either, but definitely not one of the best. And then we have Slack-Or, which is supposed to be the combination of Fake-Or and Slash. Weirdly enough, if this guy is supposed to be mutated, actually, come to think of it, all these guys, if these guys are all supposed to have been mutated, none of them have mutated body parts like the heroes do with that clear plastic. So I don't know what they were doing. Like, the rules that they were kind of creating, they didn't really follow very well when you get right down to it. Slack-Or there also uses the Andre the Giant body, you know, the one that should have been used for our mutated He-Man. So he should have been a deluxe figure if they're going to go this route. But I do remind you that Andre the Giant went at the same price as the regular figures in the line, so there's really no excuse for it. After that, we have Splinter Skull, the combination of King Grayskull's spirit and Splinter's astral projection self, apparently, when you get right down to it, at least in the comic. It was very confusing, and the writing was not done particularly well. When you get right down to it, I'm sorry. I think part of that probably has to do with how much they had to try to fit into the storyline. He came with an extra hand. You can pull the sword from the staff part, and you've got a really stupid, squinty-looking power sword. I know there were some people who were waiting for this to come out just so that they could get the parts to make a 2000X version of King Grayskull using them, but ultimately, I don't think that would have worked very well. Unlike both the Masterverse version of the Revelation King Grayskull and the Eternia playset Revelation version of King Grayskull, the cape is not cloth, and it's kind of garbage in my opinion. Then last but not least in this lineup, we have bebop steady, which is where the rules for the mutagen sort of went out the window also at this point. Now, besides the fact that you can swap out his hand with a mace, which follows along with the Krang body, bebop steady here apparently is Bebop, Rocksteady, and Too Bad combined together, making the mutagen work differently than it did in the past. Now, this actually uses the Cartoon Collection version of Too Bad's body, since they don't have an Origins version yet. And I wonder if we'll actually see one. Especially considering the actual story they used seemed more like it went with Origins. But that's a whole nother story, literally. Bebop steady, not a particularly great figure. Not terrible either. Would have been nice, though, if they've given us Rocksteady and Bebop on their own. Up next, we have the first part of the Walmart wave. So the first one we got out, I think, was Krang. Or it was either Krang or Mossman. Krang is okay. He uses the Andre the Giant body with a middle section that comes out. So you can either have it be a troll or Krang controlling a troll. Not a bad figure, honestly. Probably one of the better ones in the deluxe line. Then we get Mossman, who's just a cluster of everything. I think he uses a lot of the same armor Vecna does. In fact, I think he pretty much is Vecna, but with a different head for all intents and purposes. Including the tentacles. He does come with an arm, a hand extension thing that just he holds onto like it's a gun, which is stupid. He does have the best, probably Mossman head sculpt, however, in the line. as I do not believe that is a Beastman head. That does look like it's a fully new, really tooled head that they have not used on any of the other Mossmen so far, which is a shame. He also comes with a second head, which is that plant thing in the front there, which, you want to talk about something that's overbalanced, that's definitely one of those things. So Mossman, not a great figure. Up next, we have Merman, who is probably the highlight of the Walmart wave. Looks the best, actually scary looking. And he has both a tail and legs that you could swap out on. He's also apparently, aside from the Super Shredder, the only Walmart exclusive that was not overproduced. I never saw him in stores, and I only managed to get one online. And this case, I really do wish I'd gotten two, because I would have displayed him with both the legs and the tail. Like I said, he's probably the best of the Walmart ones. Then next up we have Leatherhead. Obviously based on the cartoon from the Turtles where Leatherhead was just a bad guy, where in the comics he wasn't really anything like that. He comes with a Bayou hat and a helmet that are interchangeable, so, you know, Eternia or Earth. And his handheld weapon is a bear trap on a holder, basically. He also does come with a tail, which helps him balance, but will also make putting him in your display a huge pain in the ass, because you got to figure out where to put the damn tail. Okay, now, in my case, with the way I do the displays with the different tiers, that's definitely going to be an issue. Although with other people's displays, you know, you can probably put figures around it. And then we have another cluster of a figure here with the Super Shredder, who I had kind of been looking forward to, and then once I got him was like, oh, this is crap. And it's another one of those ones where the rules of the mutagen were not followed or just thrown out. Because in this case, this is supposed to be Skeletor and Shredder together first. Then King Hiss jumps into the mix. We saw that in the comic where King Hiss was with the Skelly Shredder. And then later on, we see this come out and we see King Hiss by himself again still. So yeah, that made sense. But as a special mention, as you may notice, there's something missing here. The biggest piece of shit figure in the entire line. King Hiss. Both forms. So overall, I guess the foot soldier... Oh, God. The foot soldier version is not bad, honestly. I don't know why King Hiss would disguise himself as a foot soldier, but he did, because, you know, they wanted to get a foot soldier out there. And then we have this weird-ass four-armed snake thing. King Hiss was also already kind of weird to start with, but they did this. And it looks terrible. I mean, the head sculpt is actually magnificent. That's the only good part about this figure, is that head sculpt. Other than that, the arms look stupid. I think they are using those for, a couple of those arms for the upcoming, again, Battle for Eternia pack. And those feet are from the Mouse Jaw, now that I've actually looked at Mouse Jaw again. So yeah, I think King Hiss was one of the worst figures in this line, followed by, well, and Mossman. Honestly, those figures are both kind of trash. Along with Rattler and Mechaneck. So yeah, we paid deluxe pricing for 2 garbage and regular pricing for 2 other garbage. So overall, that is my retrospective on this line. We are supposed to be getting that Skelly Shred as part of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. I will try to get one, probably only one, because frankly, I just don't care that much anymore. Although the throne looks pretty cool. I'm going to have to figure out how I want to do that display though with that. To be perfectly honest, while I have been displaying all of my Masters of the Universe figures that I have thus far, and even all the cartoon collection, aside from the collector, which is collecting dust somewhere, I'm not sure where I put it, I may actually not put out all the turtle ones. I haven't decided yet on that. And if I do put them out, they'll probably be the first ones to be removed if I need more room, you know what I mean? So I hope you guys all enjoyed the retrospective on the Turtles of Grayskull line. And if you did, feel free to slap that like button. And if you want to see more of my nonsense, you can subscribe. I would appreciate it. I love having some more subscribers. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.